Okay, Nigel Logan, we're here at Tawhiti Museum near Hawera, South Taranaki again. Now in the last few years you've been able to add these new sheds here, and you've got some old farm machinery which is based on World War II vehicles effectively. So it's showcasing how locally in the district these vehicles were used post-war. Can you tell us a little bit about?
Well, it starts really with the Boxthorn Problem, because they found in South Taranaki with our salt-laden winds, hedges, that the plants tend to die, and so they found Boxthorn, which they attribute now to South Africa as sort of a base for them, would stand up to the southerly salt-laden winds. The south side gets burnt off from time to time, but they keep growing, and when they grow at a fair old pace. They actually need to be cut back to the stumps every 3 years, and then they grow at a terrific rate. But they outgrew the technology to keep them under control. Initially they thought they were going to cut them with slashes and clippers and things, and that no. And so then they started with tractors, with early tractors, and they tried to get a blade of some sort going, and it sort of worked. But these things were growing timber, that'd be 200 and 300 thick in the branches and stumps and things, and they needed serious power. Of course, at the end of the Second World War, all this army surplus stuff came on the market. And so Butler Brothers of Inglewood, and there were 4 brothers, put 2 gangs together. So there was a cutter and a sweep with 2 of them, and a cutter and a sweep for the second. And so they operated in North and South Taranaki with these machines. Of course, as kids on farms, when they arrived, it was like the army arriving. It was just fabulous. We couldn't believe it. And it just appealed. And so bream gun carriers were the first thing to get used. I think they bought, from memory, 12 of them, from ex-army ones. And then they got into 4x4 Ford trucks. Well, they're all flathead Ford V8s. Sound fabulous when they start them up. And then the one behind us is a sort of a bit of an unusual beast, which no one could really work out, including the Butlers themselves, because they were just buying them as army surplus, not always knowing what their history was. And everyone had a theory about what this beast had been made on. And it was only through yourself that were actually able to finally nail it and say what they were, where they were made, and what had been the idea of them.
So this is the LPOP, the Local Pattern ObservationPost vehicle, which was built, I think, by the railway workshops, the army workshops in Trentham during the war. They were used effectively by the Home Guard here in New Zealand as a mobile armoured car / observation post, but they were used in Korea. The New Zealand Army took
only about 4 of them or so.
To Korea.
And the rest just never left the country.
No. The National Army Museum in Waiouru has one, which is an operating vehicle. I've seen this one here. I've never seen another. I'm not sure how many are actually extant around the country. Not many, if any more. So it's fantastic seeing this one here and seeing how it's been Frankenstein, for want of a better word.
It's apparently got some tractor parts in it. I didn't realise till recently on the frontier for lifting, looked to be put on, and it was actually one of the guys that had built the Meccano model. Said, that's actually the whatever offer, the 3-point linkage on the back, the lifting for that. They've obviously tried to set it up for lifting the tines, but they've gone back to cranking it with a wire rope. But I hadn't realised it wasn't part of the original vehicle. And he said, no, that's off a tractor. So, but they were amazing. I mean, they had a workshop, and they were always known for their turnaround of machinery. Because I asked them once, did they have a low loader to take stuff back to their base for repairs? They said, no, the repairs were just done in the paddock. I said, what about an engine? They said, they'd be known to take the engine out of their Ford pickup and drop it into the cutter or into the sweep, just out in the paddock, because to get the day through. And then they'd organise putting the engine back in, but they'd do clutch jobs and gearbox jobs in the paddock. They just did a big cycle out from the workshop. And it just, when it got back to the workshop as part of the farm cycle, that they might do some work back at the shed. But they certainly never transported machinery to get repaired. It was all done literally in the paddock.
I did shoot some footage earlier of one of the cutters just behind us here with the blade. And now I've got to say, that does look rather patchwork.
Early welding technology. Well, they said it was their first welder, either in Taranaki or in Inglewood, I'm not sure. But it's interesting welding.
So you've got these, the Bren carriers, the Ford V8, the LPOP here. In the back shed, you've also got some other military vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
So that, along with the farm power exhibition, the tractors and everything, you've got a lot of vehicles here, as well as the history side of the museum. So anybody wants to call in and have a good wander around, look at a whole lot of tractors and other vehicles, this was a good way to...
It's good because for some people this is the highlight, the machinery side. You get guys pouring and we struggle to ever find them to get them back on the bus or whatever. And for others, it's sort of one walk in and quick walk out, and that machinery's not for me. Which is great, because that means that we're covering a spectrum of interest. And it's good to see the interest and being able to, again, like this, tell a family history, tell their history through their machinery, and they're now preserved forever. Hopefully. We couldn't ask for more. That's it. Chris, ticks all the boxes for us. It does for the family. They're thrilled to see it all here.
Exactly. Oh, we have a number of military vehicle enthusiasts that watch a number of our videos, so we'll put the website address here, and the next time they're in Taranaki, they can call in and come and look at this.
They'd be made most welcome. That's great. We love fellow enthusiasts.
All right, thanks, Nigel.
Thank you, Alan.
Hi, it's Bruce here. Remember, we've got a wide variety of awesome video here on the Historical Machines TV channel. Please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you're kept up to date when we release new videos.